Ukraine has admitted to killing a senior Russian general in Moscow. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov was the chief of Russia's nuclear, biological and chemical protection forces. Kirillov and his assistant were killed when a bomb hidden inside an electric scooter exploded outside an apartment building in the capital. Russian investigators are treating the attack as a terrorist act.
Dashcam footage shows the moment an explosive device killed General Igor Kirillov and his assistant outside a Moscow apartment building. Investigators are searching for clues to piece together the circumstances of what appears to be the targeted killing of one of Russia's top military leaders by Ukraine. The bomb was so powerful that it shattered several windows and damaged the front door. Shortly after the attack, a Ukrainian official said Kyiv's security service was behind it. This was a really filigree job. I don't know how else to say it. I take my hat off to our special forces who have accomplished this task. It's no secret that we have a fairly extensive network in Russia, which is coordinated by the Security Service of Ukraine, the main intelligence directorate, and the Special Operations Forces of the Foreign Intelligence Service. Russian authorities said the explosive device was planted inside an electric scooter and was detonated remotely. The deputy head of Russia's Security Council vowed revenge. Law enforcement agencies must find the killers in Russia, and everything must be done to destroy their paymasters in Kyiv. The paymasters are also known. They are the military and political leadership of Ukraine. Igor Kirillov was the head of the Russian military's chemical, biological, and radiological weapons unit. He was also considered a key figure in Russia's war against Ukraine. Just a day before he was killed, Kirillov was charged in absentia by a Ukrainian court for Russia's use of banned chemical weapons in Ukraine. He had also been sanctioned by Britain for using chemical weapons on the battlefield.
For more, let's go across to Philip Wasilewski. He's the director of the Foreign Policy Research Institute Center for the Study of Intelligence and Non-Traditional Warfare and a former CIA officer. Welcome to DW, Mr. Wasilewski. I want to start by asking you, why would Ukrainian intelligence want to target Igor Kirillov?
I believe the purpose behind the killing of Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov and his military assistant for the Ukrainians is to hold the Russian officials accountable for violating the laws of armed conflict. We should remember just last month, the Russian Navy captain whose ships had fired missiles at civilian targets in Ukraine was blown up in his car in Crimea. In the case of General Kirillov, Ukraine accused him of breaking the Chemical Weapons Convention that Russia is a party to by using chemical weapons against Ukrainian soldiers. Ukraine has documented over 4,000 occurrences of the use of the chemical chloropycrin on the battlefield. Now, chloropycrin is described as a chemical similar to tear gas because it produces many of the same symptoms, such as difficulty in breathing, watery eyes, vomiting, etc. It also has agricultural and industrial uses as well. However, chloropycrin is considered very hazardous, and here in the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency categorizes it as a restricted use pesticide and has strict limits for human exposure due to its toxicity. Now, this is quite different than normal riot control agents such as CN or CS, which is the U.S. designation for tear gas. And it's also no matter because the Chemical Weapons Convention forbids the use of riot control agents on the battlefield as well.
Right.
So in May of this year, our U.S.
I just want to jump in to follow up on something you said, that you said that this assassination was an attempt to deliver justice. But do you think it would have an impact on the course of the war? You've described the ways in which these chemical weapons can be so problematic. But do you think the course of the war or the way these weapons are used will change as a consequence of this assassination?
I don't believe that this attack will have any impact on the general course of the war. The Russians will not be deterred by attacks against individual leaders. And the Ukrainians will not stop tracking down those whom they believe have violated the laws of war against them. So this is probably just a continuation here. It's not an escalation, but a continuation of a long, plain secret war between two bitter enemies.
So no deterrence, it seems, but this does expose gaps in Russian intelligence, doesn't it? What was such a high-ranking general doing in a situation where he was so exposed?
Well, this attack was certainly a blow to the image of Russia's counterintelligence services because someone was able to surveil a senior military leader, place an explosive device outside his home, kill him, and escape. And we will probably see arrest eventually of someone, I emphasize someone, for this attack. Whether that person had anything to do with the attack will be completely immaterial. There will be an arrest, but the matter of fact, the damage is done. And this is another blow against Russia's counterintelligence services, as have been the other attacks against Russian military leaders, both inside Russia and occupied Ukrainian territory.
So an arrest potentially within Russia, but we're also hearing threats of a response also to the paymasters, as was put by a Russian official. Do we expect Russia to respond within Ukraine as well?
We can expect responses both in Ukraine and without Ukraine. Medvedev used the word zakazchik, the paymaster, or better, what the one who orders the hit in mafia-type language. But Russia has been trying to kill senior Ukrainian officials since the beginning of this war. President Zelensky, has survived numerous assassination attempts. The heads of both Ukrainian military and civilian intelligence have been targeted also for assassination. In November 2023, the wife of the chief of Ukrainian military intelligence was poisoned, along with several other Ukrainian military intelligence officers. So again, this is not an escalation, but a continuation of a war that we should remember Russia started.
Right. Philip Wasilewski, Director of the Foreign Policy Research Institute Center for the Study of Intelligence and Non-Traditional Warfare. Thank you so much for explaining that to us.
You're very welcome.